Hello, everyone. Welcome to Natty News, the nattiest news show in the world. My name is Aaron the Natty, and I'm joined by national weightlifting competitor Pat Wu. Pat, thank you for taking time in your busy national weightlifting career to come online today. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. The trading's been tough this cycle, but I feel like I always lift bad leading up to a competition.
Yeah.
So that's the solace in my mind that it'll probably come together. But yeah, it's always weird the week before competition.
When's the meet day again?
That's it's Saturday morning-ish.
This Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, hey, we're all gonna be cheering you on. Definitely drop down the link. We're gonna love to watch you. And again, such a cool experience. Like, I don't know. I know you always probably thought of yourself that you're gonna get to the national level, but I don't think you thought this fast.
No, well, as we talked about before, like a lot of things had to come together. They changed the totals on the spot. They added a random competition to let people qualify, and then with a randomly blown knee, I was able to do a lifetime best performance and barely qualify. It's crazy. I'm just happy to be there, and honestly, my goal is to just put up a total, and then enjoy my time, and then I'll watch the other lifters crush like their 330 total.
Hey, no, exactly. Like, it's just such a cool experience. Like, no one's expecting you to come Rocky Balboa and take gold. Like, you're just coming in there. Just like the fact that you made it, you've already won.
I better not go and take gold because I'm gonna get like 15 drug tests the next day. They're gonna find a pump full of like whatever SARMs, testosterone, HGH, horse serum, like all sorts of stuff.
Oh man. Hey, but dude, that is exciting. I can kind of say training for me too has been a little off. For our listeners, for I'm in lockdown again, and because of that, I'm back to doing some good old quarantine workouts. So a lot of body weight stuff, a lot of using 160-pound dumbbell to do everything. Unfortunately, none of the door frames in my place right now can support a pull-up bar. So
Oh,
yeah, I know it kind of sucks that I can't do any pull-ups. As everyone knows on Natty News, I love pull-ups. I think they're such a great exercise. So, but I've been getting unique, and actually, I've been trying to play around a lot more with body weight training, which kind of is a bit of foreshadowing for today's topic on body weight training or calisthenics, which is something I never gave much respect to until very recently.
yeah. I mean, everyone in the last year and a half. I think even people who didn't work out did some calisthenics. There was all those push-ups. There's all those like weird fitness challenges. I don't know if you remember that on the internet. Like people were just like sending each other to do 50 push-ups, and it was like people who didn't work out. I had to go watch a bunch of them on Instagram with some ugly half push-ups.
Oh man, dude, yeah, I remember those. I even remember just conversations with people like over a year ago where it was just like, man, do you have any workout tips? Like, how are you working out? Like, I would have those conversations with people like, how are you lifting now? How are you keeping your gains?
Yeah.
And yeah, um, but I think like today's conversation, it's not just about like quarantine workouts because we've talked about that before, but more so about like is it worthwhile to just give up the weight completely and just like go full on bar stars, go to your local playground, scare some 8-year-olds, and just be taking over?
Yep. Or everything in between those two levels of those.
Before we kind of get into it, I want to say, for you and maybe some of the listeners, do you remember Cali Muscle?
Oh, of course I remember Hyphy Mud and his guy could do like 20 muscle ups or something.
Yeah, no, he was a freak. But he one of his like selling points early on is he made his career from like he made his physique from just doing prison body weight workouts.
And steroids. But yeah.
Well, no, he never. I don't think he ever admitted to steroids, or maybe recently. But in his old times, he used to claim natty.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry. Just prison ramen. Yeah, just the top ramen.
I actually think, though, and maybe you can correct me, I think it was more unrealistic that he got that size of just prison bodyweight workouts than it was that he was natty. I thought that was the most outlandish thing I've ever heard. Like, how do you believe that?
Yeah, I think the workouts can work because progressive. You can be smart. He's a smart guy. You can figure it out. But it's the nutrition in jail, right? Like you ain't getting no protein, vegetables, no vitamins, no nothing. So like, yeah, for him to be gaining weight on that kind of diet is pretty crazy.
Well, I actually heard, I watched like a podcast of like people in prison about working out, and apparently protein isn't too bad because they would just like buy a bunch of tuna cans.
Okay, for the price of mercury poisoning, you can have any.
Oh man, Pat does not endorse the prison workout method.
Well, especially if you're not in prison, like it's just, I've seen people post about like that stuff too. I'm like, if you're not in prison, you don't need to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's weird how it's romanticized about how people would go to like prison boot camp training sessions, thinking that like the secret to getting jacked is by just doing what prisoners do.
Yeah, like I mean, like I've heard podcasts about people in prison too, and I think one of the things that is in their favor, I think, is the fact that there's not too much else to look forward to,
Mhm.
and then working out really becomes like quite a major focus in the day, right? There's no 9 to 5 job and this and that. And I think that's huge, right? Like when we were younger, why did we get better results? Because working out was able to be a bigger priority. So that's probably the thing that's going for them. So regular people going to prison boot camps, that ain't gonna work for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, we are not a political show, but I think there's a lot of value prisoners have found rehabilitation wise by going and working out. They're able to set goals, accomplish stuff, challenge themselves, get out some of that negative energy in a more positive outlet. Like, there's major benefits for all of that. And again, you're right. Like, when you're in prison, all you have is time. So it's pretty easy to spend 2, 3 hours just working out because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah, man. It's something productive too, right? It's even better. It's not just like a lollygagging workout.
Yeah. But anyway, that was just my little tidbit. I just always, whenever I hear body weight training, I think of a Cali muscle talking about how he got 25-inch arms from just doing prison workouts.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Oh baby, oh man. Okay, so let's kind of like dive into a bit about body weight training. So, like, how would you describe body weight training to someone, or like calisthenics? Let's use calisthenics. I guess would be a better word.
Sure. I mean, essentially, it's like I would say it's strength training and expressions of strength training using your body weight without using external loads. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, strength training with just your body.
Okay, so when you say external loads, like an example is weighted pull-ups. Would you count weighted pull-ups as a calisthenic movement?
Yeah, like I mean, like it's not pure calisthenics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's an extension of it. And I mean, like yeah, you can. I guess you can call it calisthenics still.
Okay, just want to, I know I'm being a little bit harsh, but I want to make sure we got a good definition.
Yeah, I don't actually know. Like again, neither of us are like true calisthenics nerds, and maybe to them, weighted pull-ups it doesn't count. Maybe like I wonder what if like someone sat on you? Does that count as calisthenics? I don't know. Good
Yeah.
question.
Oh, I'm sure there's like some super purists there who is just like, no, you can't have anything but you and your body. No additional weight. If
Yeah,
you
like
want to
could be
get
a thing. Yeah, it could be like you're too good at pull-ups. Well, then get to your one-arm pull-ups. Like there can be purists like that. I'm sure.
yeah. Um, and so I honestly feel like one of the things about calisthenics that people always bring up is functional strength. And I don't know about you, Pat, but I hate the word functional strength.
Yeah. I hate. I don't like. Well, I don't hate it, but I don't like the word very much. It's like kind of like what's functional. I mean, nobody needs to pull himself over a bar like in regular day life. Yeah, I agree with you on that stance.
Like, I think the only functional strength is your grip strength. Like, I
Yeah,
think nothing else is functional besides your grip strength. Because you're right. Like, what's the point? Like, you're never gonna pull yourself up. You're never gonna have to go into a deep squat and push 300 pounds.
yeah. Now, I mean, like that being said, I think the word functional, if you use it with context, then it can be good, right? Like if you are I don't know, if you're like if you work manual labor, then it is functional to have sufficient grip strength. It's functional to be able to lift up, I don't know, anywhere from like 50 to 100 pounds for sure. It's functional to be able to lunge in either direction, functional to be able to put your arms overhead. But I think when you say functional just out of your ass with no context, that's like the big problem. That's like the fad in fitness, right? It's like animal flow with some functional fitness and there's no context to it.
Well, I feel like, and this might sound a little mean, but I feel like sometimes when people use it, it's kind of like a coping mechanism. Because a lot of people who get into calisthenics, and again, it sounds so mean, but a lot of people get into calisthenics sometimes are a little like smaller, like kind of kind of like skinnier and stuff. And so they use the idea that like, oh, my strength and my workouts build me more functional. Like all those heavy squats and deadlifts, like those don't build anything for you. You're just building show muscles, where mine is like functional strength, doing all these pull-ups and push-ups. And I used to kind of think that a lot, of like, oh, these people, like, they're just wasting their time pretending to play in jungle gyms. I definitely don't hear that. I mean, feel that now. I think push-ups, pull-ups, bodyweight training is incredibly important. I think people get too reliant on barbell movement sometimes and don't like go to the basics. I mean, again, I love pull-ups. I think pull-ups are one of the greatest lifts you can do. But I do think there's this whole idea of like elitism sometimes with calisthenics.
Yeah, and I think like one message that we always repeat at Natty News is just like I just think it's like dumb to be like shitting on other people's expression of fitness. I think everyone has their own expression of fitness. Everyone has their own idea of what's functional and important to them in terms of fitness. You know, like for you, it's somewhat important that you work on your deadlift and your squat and whatnot. For some people, that's just never going to be a factor. It's not important. They value their pull up and their planche and their reverse levers more, right? And it's just like it doesn't make anyone more fit or less fit. It's just like they have different goals. And I hate when people are just kind of waste. I feel like it's just a waste of energy to go in and attack other forms of fitness. Let people do their thing.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. When people would get like very much elitist about their way of training and how much better it's than others. So maybe to kind of like transition in there, what do you think are like the best parts about doing a calisthenic workout?
Yeah, that's huge. I think some of the best things, like first of all, it's accessible. So you don't have to join a gym. You can do it outdoors, like obviously push-up, squats, and whatnot. You can do it outdoors. But also, I think the biggest value is being able to learn to manipulate your own body weight in different ways. And I do think that's really important. It keeps you honest in terms of your strength to size ratio, right? Like a lot of guys, as they get heavier and heavier, right? Things like pull-ups and push-ups get harder. However, things like your bench press and your like bent over row and things like that, those will go up, and you'll see guys like, getting, bragging about 300-pound lat pull down. It might be pertinent to try a pull up or two and get your ego checked to the door. And I think in this journey of getting stronger, it's always good to have something that's going to keep your ego in check. Those bodyweight movements, I don't think calisthenics can ever get too easy, right? We've talked about like if you can do pull-ups, can you do a towel pull-up? Can you do a one-arm pull-up? Like there's actually always ways to progressively overload that people don't think about. I think it's gone to the point where most gym trainees think of them as like calisthenics are either a warm-up or there's some sort of accessory movement that you sort of just go through. And not a lot of people, I think, take them really seriously.
You are completely right about that. And actually, I think one of the things you're mentioning about like understanding how your body moves is such a huge thing that in my whole fitness career, I completely ignored. Like, I mean, you know me, I'm one of the most uncoordinated people ever. And so I think that always pushed me away from doing more of these movements. But recently, as you know, and for the listeners, I've been trying to learn how to do a cartwheel. So since like last week, every day I've been trying to do a cartwheel, and it's still very far from being even acceptable. I've been watching videos of 8-year-olds just doing them with nothing. But it really is a journey where I'm starting to better understand movement of my body. Like I'm starting to really try to think of like how to activate this, how to move this body. And it really is a super rewarding and fun experience. And like, I definitely have gotten a lot more respect from this journey. Like when I see someone doing like flips now, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you actually move your body to do that stuff? Or even like on even like a muscle up, man. Like a muscle up, I still am so impressed by.
Yeah, Can you not? Have you never done a muscle up?
Dude, I've never done a muscle up. I've tried. Like, there was points where I could do like 15, 16 pull-ups in a row, and I couldn't do a muscle up.
Oh man, I gotta teach you one day. That you can definitely do it. If you can do 15
I have done one of the cheating muscle ups where you kind of get to the top and you kind of just like get your arms up like that. But like I've never done like a smooth one. So I've done like the one where you kind of get up here, then you kind of like up, push.
Okay. Yeah, no, you can. There's a coordination thing, and I think that's the cool thing about calisthenics. Unlike barbells and dumbbells, which move in a certain way, like there are so many ways to express movement. You can do a strict pull up, you can do a muscle up, you can do beyond a muscle up. There's all this other stuff like levers and people flip around the bar. Like there's so many things that can come from it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to kind of be a bit of a devil's advocate, I think the worst thing about bodyweight training is I think progression can be harder because you were mentioning the pull-up example. So, like, let's say, like for me, example, like let's say I can do like 15 pull-ups. That's a pretty good amount of pull-ups. And so now you want to progress to the next point. So, what would be the next progression for a pull-up if you couldn't add any weight? Maybe you would do like let's say a single-handed pull-up. So I might be able to do one, maybe two single-handed pull-ups, and so then it kind of is a much steeper progression curve. While you're using like a barbell system, you slap on a 2.5 pound, even a 1 pound plate, and you can slowly make progressions. I feel with bodyweight training, the progression curve is a lot more aggressive, and I think that could be one of the difficulties about doing a bodyweight training routine.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think for that reason, I wouldn't like unless someone had to, I wouldn't recommend pure calisthenics training because I think you could almost help get over that barrier with using other weighted movements. Maybe using carries to strengthen your grip. If you know you have weak lats, you can isolate them with machines. You can do rows like to get over that. But then I think if you're confined to the calisthenics, I think it's just about being more creative. And I've had a little bit of fun last year because my clients had to work out at home, and then I just had to think, okay, how do I make things harder over time? And a lot of it's like manipulating things you don't think about, like time. For example, if you do 15 pull-ups in one set, maybe we'll do, I don't know, like you've heard of the workout I do where I do like 4 or 5 pull-ups every minute. And then I try to see how many minutes I can last. And then like having workouts like that, or just being or giving total number. Like in this workout, you're gonna do 70 pull-ups. You're not done until you get it done. You just get it done in whatever way you can. I think it's just about getting more creative. It's not as simple as add pounds, add sets, add reps. So in its own way, it's probably a little bit frustrating, honestly, if you're kind of like figuring out for yourself.
Yeah, and it would be great to actually have like a calisthenics expert talk about how would you program for someone who's just purely doing calisthenics.
Yeah, I don't know if I know any actually. Like everyone I know that does some calisthenics, I think likes to use the barbell. So maybe that tells a trend about what works the best.
This is a stupid question, but is there like a calisthenics like competition, like an event where you just compete in calisthenics?
I don't think so. You know what? No, I bet you there is. But
I feel there is too, but I feel like it's very niche. Like it's probably like a bunch of like badasses who could pop out 50 muscle ups, all compete against each other.
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's not like you see things like that in a lot of things. Like you see it in CrossFit, you see it in like what else? Like there's like strong first, like like a lot of the kettlebell enthusiasts, they're also very into the bodyweight training, but you don't see it in its pure form a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I also feel like a lot of bodyweight training, kind of the way to get over the progression hump is by adding weight. So like when I pull up example before, the easy answer to like how you progress to pull-ups is you add weight. You throw on like a dumbbell between your feet, boom, 5, 10, 15 pounds, get up some reps there. Eventually you'll be doing like 60 pounds or 100 pounds, and then yeah, you're going to be progressing like mad and get a killer back. So I feel though like the golden answer is that bodyweight training is a fantastic to be worked in with traditional barbell weight training.
Yeah, yeah, as a tool to be taken seriously. But yeah, I don't think. But then again, neither of us have ever spent like years of our lives doing pure body weight. But I wouldn't suggest it.
You know something that's really cool too, and that's something I've noticed is there's a big overlap between like the gymnast calisthenics group and the Olympic weightlifting group. Like you know Clarence Zero, like the
Yeah,
crazy
Terrence
freak
Kennedy.
Olympic weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like a bunch of these like body weight like gymnast moves, like the tricking stuff, and it's incredible. And there's also a few other people too who are like in the Olympic weightlifting community who also are really into these like gymnast movements.
Yeah, well, fun fact about Olympic weightlifting, a lot of the good athletes, especially the ones that are from like some of the European and North American countries, they were gymnasts who converted. Like one of the best female weightlifters in Canada, Maud Sharon, she's going to the Olympics, gold medal contender. Like she was a high level gymnast. And like there's like videos of her like doing like she can still do like back tucks and like all sorts of tumbling stuff with no warm up even years after retirement, because I think it lends itself well. And like we talked about body awareness, because you have such great body awareness. Of course it transfers over well to Olympic weightlifting, and like they know how to manipulate their body, they know where to put the bar. Obviously they have good mobility because they've always trained full range of motion, so it's a good transfer.
Man, dude, I just feel like gymnastics is such a good base for any sport.
Yeah, honestly, I think did I ever talk to you about how like I think like the pillars of being pretty good at every sport, like you got to do like gymnastics, a little bit of basic track and field, and then like one like catching and throwing sport, or like a racket sport, because then you get the hand eye, and then you have the body coordination from the gymnastics, and then you have the ability to like run and jump from the track, and then you're just like making a super athlete, which I think we done none of those as kids, so we're unfortunate.
Yeah, but you know what? We're young enough where we can still like get some of those benefits and stuff. Like I think even if you, I really dislike the mentality that if you didn't start in the kids, it's too late. Like, yes, you know what? You didn't get the chance then, but you can try to be as good as you can. Like I jokingly in a round, I remember we talked before privately. One of my goals in life is I want to be able to do everything an 8-year-old can. If an 8-year-old can do a cartwheel, I better be able to do a cartwheel too.
Dude, you're gonna get it, man. You got to get like the splits.
Yeah,
Get those, like gymnastics basics. I think are pretty achievable for a lot of people. Handstand.
you're obviously familiar with George St. Pierre, one of the
Yep.
legendary Canadians. He actually does primarily a gymnastic body weight routine for his strength and conditioning. I don't think he touches any weight.
Does he have a reason for that?
So his main coach is a man called Faraz Zahabi, who owns the TriStar Gym in Montreal, and he actually really much doesn't like weight training for any of his athletes. And yeah, and so he mostly for his strength and conditioning is kind of like body weight calisthenics, gymnast training. And I think the main reasons for it is one, a lot of core activation, keeping that really strong. Again, like understanding the body movements. I mean, that's huge in fighting, as well as I think a big thing is he's one of the believers where adding muscle will slow you down. Now, I don't know how true that statement is and all that, but he believes in he's trained champion, so I'm not going to second guess him when it comes to fighting. But it's a very interesting thing about how, like, him at such a high level, he actually says that one of the reasons he believes so is because of the strength and conditioning stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock him if it's working well, and I mean it's a weight class sport too, so it's
Yeah.
probably a very good argument to not putting on weight, especially if like you've seen GSP, he's like ripped. Like I don't know if he put on any more muscle, he would have been able to fit into his weight class.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and also something crazy. And I know we're kind of going a little topic. He doesn't do cardio.
It probably doesn't need it. I mean, his training's probably keeping his engine pretty sharp.
Yeah, he was saying like he doesn't do much cardio at all. Like the only because he was saying it's kind of unnecessary. Like you only get tired if your technique and like body awareness isn't good, and you get too stressed out.
Provided you have a good baseline, which I'm sure he has an
Yeah, I mean
amazing
he's
baseline cardio.
Yeah, you look at him, man. He actually looks like a Greek god, especially with the hair now too. He looks clean.
Yeah, yeah, in retirement, showing up on TV now.
Yeah, what a good Canadian. But kind of going back to it is that one of the big advantages people always talk about body weight training is a tree. Like you don't have to spend any money. You can go to a playground. You can go just mess around, have a good time there. And I kind of feel though like is that a good excuse? Because I feel like gym. I mean, for some people, of course, low on money, but for the general public, I think it's kind of like it's still better just to go to a gym and do body weight training.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that even if you're training at home, like even just using household items to help give yourself some resistance, just like saves a like unnecessary headache, I think, right? Even like getting a couple sacks of like rice or soil, right? So you can eventually like for a lower body movement, so you can eventually progress your single leg hip thrust, right? Rather than like finding weird ass ways to try to make that harder by yourself over time. Yeah, I just don't think you have to do it as purely. And I think there's a lot of good little free options to at least add resistance, even if you're primarily doing these body weight based movements.
What would be your recommendation for someone who, let's say they can't afford a gym, they're going through some tough times, and again that happens, who wants to get a good body weight workout in like a park or something? What would be your recommendation on how they should maybe schedule, progress, and all that stuff?
In a park, a park's actually tougher. Like this is kind of weird to say, but I think actually like even within a household setting, there's actually a lot of little tools that are very helpful, right? Like if you have a sofa of some kind, that kind of functions almost like a bench in a way, right? You can do hip thrusts, you can do Bulgarian split squats. If you have like the right type of couch and you can slip your feet under, you can do like Nordic curls, right? And then at home, like even like having a wall can be so helpful. You can do like triceps in the wall. You can do like Spider-Man planks. So that kind of terrain is actually super helpful. And then if you're in a park, um, you're a little bit like, here's the thing: if you're new, right, you're a little self-conscious about working out. And if you're in public and some kids are on the monkey bars and their parents are watching them, and then you're doing like push-ups, you're probably struggling their first week. Then the parents and the kids are watching you. You ain't gonna feel so good about that. I'd really recommend household items can actually make for like a lot of help, right? If you're new, you grab like 2 full detergent bottles, you do Bulgarian split squats. That's pretty hard workout. I think it's gonna be quite a while before that becomes too easy and you need to progress past. So yeah.
Way back near the beginning of the pandemic, I lived near a schoolyard that has a jungle gym and stuff. And at this point, they just started opening it up for kids to use. And I felt so guilty that I cannot take these jungle gym from these kids. They've been waiting to play on it. I cannot be selfish and take it for my stupid pull-ups.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would only go at like very late at night, so there's no kids around. Because I'm like, I can't take this from a kid. Like, the kids should play on this. I shouldn't be using this.
yeah, exactly. The whole like working on a playground, I don't know, it sounds nice, but it's harder to pull off than you think.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, how are you gonna tell like a 6-year-old being like, hey, you can't swing on these monkey bars. I have to do my pull-ups soon.
Yeah, just my 5 sets of 10. They're like, what the heck? What the heck? This big man bullying me.
Actually. Oh my goodness. Um, that's really interesting, actually, and I do like the idea of this using your home creativity, like creatively. Um, what if you don't have any of that? Like, I guess we have talked about before that if you have low on money, of course, buy some bands, buy a pull-up bar, buy stuff like that. But what about you think about people who do very minimalistic workouts, like just like push-ups and squats? Like they don't have like much equipment, they have like no couch or something, and they just do a whole routine of just doing push-ups and squats. Do you think that could work?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it later about like best workouts for each body part. I think
Mm-hmm.
you definitely want a little bit of a more well-rounded workout. Like, with push-ups, you're not getting much back and shoulders, lats or core, right? With just the squats, you're not getting very much glute, hamstring, or lower leg. So you want it to be more well-rounded, but Absolutely, you can get a good workout with absolutely no equipment. That you just have to be more creative, and that's the thing, though. Like, I think people just default to push-ups and squats, and that's all they do. And then eventually, their shoulder starts feeling a little achy, and they're not sure why. Their knees are a little sore, and they're not sure why.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen those online images of like 10-minute workout where it's like push-ups, squats, planks, sit-ups, boom, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with these like random body weight workouts is the programming, if we can call it that. Like it's done with like no brain. Like it's just like here's random exercises, do them for like this much time, rest that much time, and like there's no clear purpose. Like what are you working? What goal are you working towards? There's no context, and so all you get are just tired people. And the point of working out is not just to be tired, right? Like it's to get towards some sort of outcome. And I think when you're making body weight workouts, you still need to think about what are your goals, what muscles are you trying to work, and then build from there, right? Don't just pick random exercises.
Yeah, and something I'm kind of thinking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't you kind of think maybe it would be better for a beginner to maybe start off doing a lot of this like body weight training, since I think one of the big issues is that when people start weight training, one of the big things is you haven't developed any stabilizers, you really haven't developed like any kind of like base. And the nice thing about doing these body weight exercises is you can kind of choose what's comfortable for you. Like if your hands aren't comfortable doing a push-up, you can move and adjust them. Like you have so much freedom in where you want to place stuff to find what's comfortable for you, so you can start building up some stabilizers, building up some mind-muscle connection, all that good stuff. Like I remember hearing this before when I was young, when I first started like exercising, was saying like, oh, you should do a year of body weight before you touch any weight, so you can get that comfortable before doing that. And I always kind of thought that in the back of my mind. I was like, that probably would be the better way. But kind of from your professional experience, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you need a year, and that's probably not necessary. But I think it's important to include the body weight. Mix it in. Have some body weight, have some weights. That's usually what I do with people. I like to get people to push-ups, but hey, some people really just struggle and can't do a push-up. They can't do a knee push-up. They can somewhat do like a elevated push-up, and we'll work with that. But I think it's also helpful. Like, let's say they can only do like 4 or 5 of those bench push-ups, then it's probably helpful to add some accessory work to get them where we want them. Definitely agree. I hate planks, but everyone should like be able to do a plank for a little bit. Be able to do a side plank and work different motions. Yeah, like body weight, like you have a lot more degrees of freedom with your body, right? Like a push up and a chest press are quite different in terms of like your shoulder blades aren't locked in and they're allowed to move freely. I think it needs to be a part of every beginner's program, but not the only part. It doesn't need to be a year.
I also feel like something too where it's so incredibly rewarding when you can do a movement with your body. Like I still remember the first time I could do a pull up. Like it's just one of those things where I feel like that's more a bigger accomplishment than any amount of weight on a barbell, because it's kind of like this is a motion your body couldn't previously do that you've unlocked it. Like I use the analogy that working out is kind of like a video game, and it is like, and so it's kind of like you leveled up, you got a new ability, that now you can do this thing with your body that you never could do before, which I think is just immensely rewarding and super cool. And as I age and I feel losing my body's control as I get older and older, it's something I want to gain more of.
Yeah, it's that's another benefit of body weight work. Like in the gym when we lift weights, honestly, it's like sets and reps all the time. Like
Yeah.
you get the feeling, did you hit more weight or did you hit more reps? And those are kind of like the pleasures that you get from it. But yeah, you get to unlock those skills. Like last year, I worked on getting my splits, and I got my I think you call it a side split. I got it from on one side, I didn't get it on the other side. And I was like, oh shit, like that's like great. There's no sets and reps of it. I didn't have it, and then I had it, right? Like I could only do pistol squat on one side, and then I could do it on both sides. I'm like, wow, that's like awesome. And it's a good little like flex too. You can show that off to your friends, and you feel good about it, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen your Tinder profile, and it's just you doing pistol squats.
That's all there is. Yeah, that's mom and dad. That's all there is.
How do you, hey mom, dad, how do you guys meet each other? Well, I saw your dad's pistol squat and I was just so impressed, and then he saw me doing my like backflip, and he knew I was the one for him.
That's actually exactly how online dating works nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, and that's actually another thing. I think bodyweight workouts can look really cool. Like,
Yeah.
me and you, obviously, we've been gym rats, so you see someone doing like a 6-plate deadlift, you're like, damn, that's impressive. But I feel like kind of for the general public, seeing someone do a muscle up is more impressive than a 6-plate deadlift.
Yes. Yeah. Like 10 pull-ups is infinitely more impressive to everyone than like a 4-plate row. No one gives a crap. I don't give a crap.
And it's only because like me and you, we lift, so we know how hard that is. We know how hard it is to get like a 6-plate deadlift. Like you put in so much work and effort, like that's hard. But like for the general public, it's like, oh, that's a lot of weight. That's neat. And they see someone do like 10 pull-ups, like, wow, I can't even do that. I just hang there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole idea of like things that look doable. Like if I lift a barbell and you lift a barbell, you just did it with more weight. But if I can't do a back lever and you can do a back lever, that is a whole new realm of stuff that this person can do that most people can't. And you can earn those skills through your body weight training.
Yeah, and see, I kind of started to feel that way too, because I think like a lot of bodyweight stuff is more impressive to me because I can't do a lot of it. So now to me, it's like, man, what's your secret? How do you do that? How do you move your body that way?
Yeah. One day I want to move on, and there's a couple skills I definitely want to learn, and have to get some. I'll have to find a teacher when it comes to that point.
If you could, a magic like leprechaun came to you and was like, you know what, Pat, you've done the Natty world a lot of goodness. You get one. You can do one type of like gymnastic movement perfectly. Next morning, what would you pick? You could only do one. Everything else you would suck at, but you could only do one really well.
It's gonna be a backflip. Everyone that knows me knows my nightmares with backflips. I spent my first year getting dropped on my head, and I'm at the point in my life. Some people might think otherwise. I can't ever see myself doing it. So I would be so like if I did it, I think I would have an out of body like experience. If I did a back tuck, I would just be like high on life, and I would do it everywhere. I would do it all the time if I had that skill. How about you?
I think the split, like the what's the one that Van Damme does? Where is that like the front split?
Oh, the middle split, yeah.
The middle split. Yeah, I want to do the middle split. I think it would be so cool just to be able to like drop down like that. Like I remember watching like what's that Van Damme movie? Was it like Kickboxer where he does it at like a bar when fighting like 5 people? It was so cool.
Yeah. It's he would have had an OnlyFans.
I mean, he's still around. Maybe he does.
Yeah, he's still training.
I think he can still do it too. I think I saw like an old Conan's video and he just jumped into it.
Yeah, actually, I think during 2020 when I was at home way too much, I think he put out some training videos. He was showing like his stretching and his kick training. Guy can still kick way higher than like me and you could ever do.
Oh, if you want to hear an impressive like older gentleman story, when I used to work out in Sports Central, which was a 24-hour gym, this would be after I was working at the bar, so I'd be working at like 4 or 5 a.m. and there'd be some older gentlemen who would be working out there too. There was this one guy who was a K1 fighter. For those who don't know, K1 is a kickboxing organization, very, very competitive. And this guy was like in his 50s, and he, no joke, could just like drop into the splits no problem.
Woo.
Like serious. I used to talk to him, and then yeah, he would just like do it, and like he was so mobile and so flexible. And like I remember even then I asked him like, "How do you do that?" And he's like, "You just gotta keep it up. Like just don't stop."
That's crazy, and as someone who has barely done the splits for like a short period of my life, there's a huge difference between being able to like crank yourself into splits and look like you're literally about to die,
Yeah.
and just being able to. And then the next level, I think, is being able to slide into it, but being able to just drop into it is like the highest level of it. That it kind of hurts like a little bit if your hip flexors aren't ready. So that's crazy.
Yeah, no, he was super impressive and definitely is an inspiration. And I hope to be that point when I'm in that age.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Keep stretching, keep doing mobility. I've seen a lot of people retain it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've said it a lot now in news. You lose, like if you don't use it, you lose it. And actually, this is something interesting too, though. For clients of yours who are a little older, do you kind of maybe recommend doing more body weight training instead of weights?
Yeah, well, a lot of my older bodyweight clients, they've been kind of trying to ward off the virus and stay home more. So a lot of it, not by choice, but we had to do more bodyweight work because they didn't want to invest in too much equipment at all, and I totally understood that. But we do a good amount of bodyweight training, and it is, I will use the word functional here because there are things that are important for some more elderly people. Things like being able to get up out of a chair, being able to get up off the ground with confidence, being able to reach down to the floor and come back up again with confidence, being able to lift something up and have the mobility for that, and then being able to carry something. So I just basically said squat, hinge, push, pull, and carry in a very fancy way. But because of that, a lot of that is like we do body weight. It's almost like skill practicing. Like we'll literally do get up from the ground as an exercise, because we can do all the weird core drills, but the best way to practice is while I'm watching to see how you get up. And the more we do reps, you can see some people who had a kind of mental barrier, they really hated being on the ground, and they start to feel a little bit better about it after practicing. So yeah, we
That's
do a lot of body
fantastic.
weight work.
Yeah, no, because I was kind of thinking that, like, even though earlier I was kind of making fun of the functional, but when you get to an older point, that is functional strength. Like, for me and you, getting off the ground, it's easy. Like, what do you mean? I can get off the ground all day. But
Yeah.
for someone who's a little older, who's a little more beaten up, yeah, that could be a battle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's functional is all about the skills that are important to you, and even like I even know, like I think like younger people who just they have a rough time like getting up from the floor, like if you have bad knees and stuff like that. It's important to just practice that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like find a good professional that's going to help you, but those are barriers to life, right? If you're just like always scared of being on the ground and getting back up, then finding a way to work on it.
No, you're completely true. And I think a lot of these body weight movements and exercises are a way to kind of like gain confidence in moving your own body.
Yep. Yeah. Like I think you not only gain strength, but also in terms of like a motor learning, you gain that practice, right? Maybe if you're really lacking strength, at least you'll find the best strategy to get up from the floor or to like lift something overhead.
Exactly, man. Hey, so we're kind of running up in time, but let's do a little fun activity. Let's do a rapid fire, top body weight movements for each body part. And do you want to split upper and lower, or should we just both go and see who has a better list?
Yeah, let's go. We can go like upper, lower. We can go like the standard like body parts, like maybe
Yeah.
like chest, whatever, shoulders, arm, whatever, core, back, lats, all that
Let's
stuff.
start. Let's start from the very top. So let's go with the shoulders and traps. What's the best shoulders and traps? I think we both know it.
I thought we were going to talk about the head, but okay. Uh, shoulders and traps for body weight. I don't know. We might have a different answer, but I think like for shoulders and traps, it might be like a ITY for the shoulder or some sort of handstand. What part of the shoulder are we talking about?
See, I was just thinking doing a pike push-up.
That's pretty good.
See, now
Yeah,
you're making me second guess everything because you were the one who showed me the pike push-ups. I thought we were going to be on the same page.
no, I mean pike push-ups. Pike push-ups pretty good. Pike push-ups. Okay, I gotta say it's like I got a name too, like pike push-up, but I think that's a little bit more like a shoulder press. So it does more of the front, but
Yeah.
like just like a Superman on the ground. The one where you go
Oh
like
yeah.
up and then you go back because you get
Yeah.
you get the rotator cuffs. That's really important, right? We want to keep those healthy, and that's missed with a lot of body weight movements. So that one will be, let's say that one's a rotator cuff one.
Sure. Okay, so we got Superman's and pike push-ups.
Yeah.
Let's go to some arms. What about biceps?
This is like the hardest thing, isn't it? I mean, the cheap easy answer is like pull-ups or chin-ups. Like that's the cheap easy answer. But what if we don't have a pull-up bar?
Yeah, see that's the thing. Like, yeah, chin-ups and pull-ups basically cover half of your upper body.
Yeah. I wonder. There's probably a creative way to do it, but yeah, I don't know. Besides pull-ups, I have a hard, or chin-ups, I have a hard time thinking of one.
What I've been doing actually at home is I do a like, what's those things where you kind of lie down and you roll your body up?
Inverted row?
Inverted row. So I have a chair, and so I grab like the cushion of the chair and I'm underneath it, and like I invert row that way, and I kind of like try to like squeeze the bicep and all that. Like, it's not the most efficient way to train my back, but it's the only way I can find without a pull-up.
Yeah, biceps is a hard one, honestly.
Yeah.
Body weight, because even like chin-ups, I don't think it's the best thing to do for biceps, because I think either your grip or your back will go first, rather than like, unless you have like the weakest biceps in the world like me, and it's pretty effective for me.
You know, Pat, I'm gonna say both as you. Like, when I do chin-ups, my biceps give up before anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Okay, so moving on from there, we just did bicep. How about triceps? What do you got?
Diamond push-ups, baby.
Diamond. Yeah. See, I don't love diamond push-ups because my elbows are made of glass. I actually like like a wall tricep extension. So you put your hands on the wall, and the way it works is the more you incline, the further your feet are from the wall. Like, if you eventually got the parallel, it's actually very, very hard. And it also works flexibility, right? Because you gotta go like that. So
yeah,
that's my pick for it. But I respect your pick too. That's diamond push-ups are perfect.
I think the reason I don't like doing those is because of flexibility stuff. Because like my lats get pretty tight, so I think for me, I never did those because of that. But that's actually the reason I should do more of them. So I might throw those in some more.
Yeah, you got to work on that flexibility. That's gonna help your cartwheels, man.
Oh, you're telling me the truth, man? Yeah, that's been motivating me to stretch. It's like, oh, stretch so I can do my cartwheels.
Hell yeah. Okay, what you got for lats?
Oh, latsy. Again, pull-ups are the easiest one. Like, you can't beat pull-ups. But if we're gonna cheat and not say pull-ups, oh man, that's hard. I know we're gonna say no furniture either, because you could do like a furniture roll. Like, you could just like find like a heavy object and roll it, but that could be cheating too.
I mean, a roll is like fair.
Yeah, I guess like if you like can get like some milk jugs and just hold like two of them, that's like about 40 pounds. I mean, no, actually less than that. It's like 20 something pounds, but
yeah,
you could do some type of rowing
I was
motion.
thinking like the thing you did, like getting under the table and doing
Oh yeah, true. You could, an inverted row too. Like, yeah, that could work as well. I mean, again, pull-ups are king, but inverted rows with some furniture could work out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one was pretty simple. Let's see, we've done. Did we miss anything? What about lower back?
Oh, so see, lower back, what I've been doing is I've been taking my heaviest band and I kind of like I do a good morning. So I do banded good mornings.
Wait, hold on. How's this calisthenics if you have a band?
I know it doesn't count, but I'm saying like I'm going to count band. I kind of count band work as calisthenics, to be honest.
Fair.
But no, I agree. If we're going by pure calisthenics, so like the purist there who's like, no, bands don't count. That's a hard one. What would be lower back? I kind of feel the Superman works your lower back a bit too. Like, you have to activate it when you arc up.
Superman's pretty good, but the best exercise is the reverse plank. So reverse plank, meaning you're lying on your back. You got your shoulder blade elevated. You got your heel elevated. So your job is to hold the rest of your body up, and that is the work of your lower back. Simplest exercise ever. You can't do it wrong. You just hold it, right? And then obviously, like cheating, you can add weight, but I mean, if it's too easy, you can also lift one leg off the ground, and I found for a lot of beginners, and even me included, holding for a minute is pretty challenging. So it's a great exercise.
Reverse plank, man. Okay, I've not heard of this one.
It's reverse plank is better than regular planks. That you heard it here first.
I think that might be the most controversial opinion you've had.
No, I think I've said weirder things.
Yeah, like Cali muscle's not natural.
Yeah, I don't know. That top ramen's got some stuff in it, man.
All right, let's move down to hamstrings. You know what, Pat? I'm gonna say it for you. Nordic
Hold on.
hamstrings.
I think we missed all this stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. We could miss. Okay. Well, chest. Come on. Push-ups.
Yeah, that's. Am I creative? Do I have a better one? No, it's freaking push-ups.
I mean, like you could say like okay, incline push-ups or decline push-ups, but they're all
like
the same motion.
Yeah, it's push-ups.
Yeah.
And then core.
Okay, but see, you know, from our last, actually, I don't know if it's our last episode, but you were talking about the benefits of doing side planks. So I've been doing a lot of side planks recently.
Yeah, I probably, and we have our unreleased exercise tier list where I talked about sit-ups, but I would pick, if I could pick one, it'd definitely be side planks.
Yeah, I'm a fan of like leg raises, but of course if you don't have a bar to do them. But I also like V-sit. Like I like those as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no right answer for core. Core is pretty easy to do with body weight.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, do you feel it in your abs? Okay, let's try something else.
Yeah, straight up.
All right. Okay, so now let's go to hamstrings, which I know Nordic.
Yep, Nordic curls. However, now like it's pretty hard to set up at home. Like I'm not gonna lie. I've actually tried, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody has a partner that's to hold them. So what would you pick if you had no partner?
So I've been doing one-legged stiff-legged deadlifts, and I do use a dumbbell for it. But I would say I think I do have pretty strong hamstrings. But I think even if you just like, I think for someone who might have not had much training experience, you can get an amazing workout with maybe just holding like a milk jug.
Yeah. I would say for me, for hamstrings, I think it'd have to be like the floor hamstring curl, like hardwood floor.
Oh yeah.
You guys have heard me talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's always important to train the hamstring and its function to like bend the knee.
Yeah.
Even for sports, or even just for walking around and jogging, I think it's important. So that's my pick.
Mike Chang would be proud of you using towels.
I'm actually low-key just a disciple of Mike Chang, just disguised as a real professional.
Him and his towel workout.
Yeah. Next thing, I'm going to scratch all my choices. Towel push-ups, towel pull-ups, towel sit-ups.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty, where are we at? We're at, well, let's stay in the back. We forgot glutes.
Okay, glutes. Oh man. To be honest, I don't do much like exact glute work, but if I did, probably would have to be something for like bridging movement. I feel like maybe but the problem is like how would you add a weight? Because like I can do like 50 body weight bridges.
Okay, well here's what you need to try the next time.
I guess single-legged.
Single leg, but like bench elevated. Hip thrust. So you put your shoulder blades on a bench, got your legs in the ground. I'm like, you'd be surprised if you could do 20. Like it is, like most of the time when I have people doing it the first time, this is me included, by like 10 or 15, you are just dead. It's incredible how hard it is, especially if you're not used to single leg type work. And you really feel the glute, which again, for a lot of people, it's very tough. So I suggest that one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that one out. Yeah, because I don't do actually much glute work alone at all.
It's very important for outer appearance. And
hey, I have a badonk, man. Don't you disrespect me. I got some cash in my bank.
Do your hip thrusts, everybody. Now, what's next? We gotta do quads, right?
Yeah, quads. So obviously there are like you can do body weight squats and like you can
body weight squats the best option if it's body weight.
I would actually think I think body weight squats could work, and I'm talking about like maybe because you can maybe adjust it. You can do like some jump squats and stuff like that. Like you could get some work on it. I've been trying to learn how to do a pistol. So, but I think the problem is it takes a lot of coordination and flexibility to get down there. So I feel like pistols aren't for everyone. Like, do I really get a good hypertrophy from doing pistols? I don't think so. But it is something I want to work my way up to. Where I think like a bodyweight squat. Actually, forget squats, lunges.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to, like lunges and split squats, probably pretty good. You can
Yeah,
only do one, right? Because we all know about the benefits of doing single leg type training. Now, I'm going to go off on a whim, and I'm not even going to pick squats. If we're talking purely quads, you know the reverse Nordic curl. I've probably shown you it and done it. The one where you're laying on your knees and you just lean straight back.
yeah.
Because it stretches out. A lot of people have tight quads. It stretches out and contracts the quads. First of all, it feels cool when you do it. Secondly, everybody can do it because even if you have knee pain, it's closed chain, so it's pretty good. And it really works. That'd be my pick. I know it's surprising. I didn't say squats, but yeah.
I know. No, but that's an interesting one. You really are a fan of these Nordic movements.
Yeah, these Nordic people. You know, we gotta look up the origin of this exercise sometime. I bet you it's not even like. I bet you the name wasn't even coined by a Nordic person.
No, oh, you know what? I'm gonna bet you. I bet it comes from like some North American city, like it's someone in like Colorado who came up with this, and he's like, "Oh, it's Nordic, everyone."
Yeah. Well, that's next time on our history. We got to talk about that one.
Yeah. All right. And then calves. I mean, I don't believe in training calves, but if I had to, I guess it's calf races.
Yeah. Single leg calf races. You know, if you're training at home, right? One thing you get to do is you get to train barefoot. It's actually pretty beneficial because you might not believe in training calves, but we know that your foot has like over 20 muscles, and gaining stronger feet can help reduce knee pain, make you stronger, produce more force. So barefoot single leg calf races, that's really effective. And a lot of people will find it pretty tough.
All right, so I think we've actually covered every. I'm actually impressed. We got every body part done with a pretty good exercise.
Yeah, I'm ready if I ever need to train body weight again. Not that I would want to, but I'm ready.
No, but I think one of the lessons about this whole episode is this: like, for your average person, it's important to throw in a few of these.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, especially like, I think it would be better to do a bodyweight movement than a machine movement.
Yeah, and again, like owning your body weight, right? If you just think of machines, I think one thing you'll realize is that there's muscles you've missed, and even it can just be a little bit more lazy. Like machines don't make you work as hard, and it's important to like learn to work hard. Like there's a different pain you feel from like real pull-ups versus the lat pull down.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Hey, all right. Any last point you want to make, Pat, before we go to our ending segment?
No, let's jump into the segment because it is very relevant to today.
It is. It is. I mean, today we're bringing back the Natty Hall of Fame, one of the most prestigious awards any human could ever get. And for calisthenics, bodyweight training, there is no one else you and I could think of besides the man, the myth, the legend himself, who is also an amazing painter. Pat, who is this man?
Yeah, it is our guy, Kane Sumabat, aka Timberwolf. Yeah, I mean, what more can we say about him? He's obviously a very accomplished trainer. He mostly trains online nowadays. Has one of the greatest physiques ever in his prime. However, even at over 50 years old, he still has one of the greatest physiques ever. And this man has been lifetime natural, except for smoking weed, if we count that, which you shouldn't, and no one should get eliminated from any sport competition because of that. Our actual bit of news for once. No, but he's amazing, and I'm sure you know of his most amazing feat, Anwar, which is every year he would try to do the year's number in pull-ups. You heard that right. In one day, it's like 2,020 pull-ups in a day, and it's absolutely incredible. And I think he started doing this when he was past 45 too. So it's not even, this isn't like a super young guy doing it. Yeah, and what else do you have to say about Timberwolf?
I have to say, like, I mean, everything you said is true. Like, he has an unbelievable physique, and he's worked so hard throughout. And you can actually see the progression. He shows pictures of him in his 20s and 30s, and he looks good. But I actually think he looks better in his 50s than he does in his 20s, which is insane.
Yeah.
But I cannot stress enough how impressive those year-end challenges are. Like, you and I, we used to do those pull-up games. We would do 100 as fast, whoever can do it faster, and we'd be pretty tired. I cannot imagine doing 2,000 pull-ups in a single day. And he would show pictures of his hands, and they would just be ripped up from doing all those pull-ups. Like, I think that is one of the most underrated endurance feats any human's done. Like, and strength feat. Like, that is such an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, and a bunch of years ago, with a different mindset, I used to think, okay, it's impressive, but it's kind of stupid. But I'm kind of looking at a different light. It's even more impressive to show mental strength, right? Obviously, it hurt, and there's no need to do it. And I think he's talked about it on his Instagram and his posts. Like, he doesn't have to do it. Nothing ends his life if he doesn't do it. But it's just about showing himself that as he gets older, he's going to keep fighting. He's going to keep doing his best. Even like he failed last year, but just doing your best. I only got 1,800, but hey, I fucking got 1,800 pull-ups at age like 53. How many 35-year-olds can do that? How many 25-year-olds can do that? So, a lot of, and I think that's why we agree with him. It's all about just like proving to yourself what you can do, and using fitness as a way not only for your physical but for your mental health.
Exactly. I think he definitely has captured that. And I think another thing which is really great too is I really think he shows about how simple training can be. Like, you just got to exercise, you just got to do these movements and stuff. Like, he doesn't sell any special plan or anything. It's just like, hey, just you can get an amazing physique from just doing this body weight training. Like, as long as you just go find some stuff you like to do, work out consistently, you can make some massive gains.
I mean, he's a great proponent of that. I think his workouts nowadays, it's the push-ups, it's the pull-ups. He can also do like levers. Apparently, L-sit pull-ups are like a normal daily thing for him, even though it's not for us mortals. But yeah, it clearly works. He's been able to maintain and stay looking very fit.
You know what I also want to know is his hair routine, because dude, he has some good locks out there.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I wish I could look like that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, this has nothing to do with his physique, but his art is actually so good. Like, his paintings are so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, one of our goals is to get him on and be able to have a conversation with him, hopefully.
If we ever get a Natty News office, we're gonna have to have one of his paintings. That's it for sure.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, gotta pay him back for all the tips he's given us through the years. I mean, I think we found him when we must have been teenagers. We were just like, who the hell is this guy doing like 25 clapping pull-ups in this place that he calls the Bat Cave? That is so badass.
And this is something I love now, is that like people I remember stumbling upon who are very small YouTube followings, some of them have really exploded. Like, we talked about Clarence Zero before. I remember seeing him when he had like 10,000 subscribers.
Yep.
And now he's like,
now he's huge.
Yeah, and he should be. Like, he is incredibly amazing, and he's also a funny guy. Like, I love hearing him talk and stuff. Like, he's a cool guy. And like, same thing with Timberwolf. I remember finding him. I think the first video I saw was actually him and his nephew training, and his nephew too also has a fantastic physique and has worked very hard. But like, I remember seeing that, and I'm seeing how respected he is now, how everyone kind of knows him. It's just so cool.
I think he has a huge family culture. I think his dad did calisthenics, and then I remember him going to his nephew. Must have been like I think it's or niece, sorry. Like, she's like 10 or something, and she's doing gymnastics competitions. Like, it runs in the family. Everybody's doing the body weight training, and not only physically fit, but like obviously mentally, it's been a huge help to everybody.
Definitely. Well, hey, Timberwolf, welcome to the Natty Hall of Fame. Definitely a true inspiration, and thank you from the Natty community.
Awesome. Well, we will wrap it up. If you like Natty News, please remember to subscribe to our channel and like it. Share it with a friend you know that will like this type of news content. We always make sure to give one bit of real news every single week. And I think that's it, right, Anwar?
I think that's everything. Anyways, all of you guys have a natty day. Natty News out.
Natty News out.